Folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. You can find our show, 706-889-9700. You can text me, email me at any time, chief@FetcherNews.com. Follow us on Twitter, @FetcherNews, @FYNTV. And, okay, let's get right into this. Now, why? I'm not asking for your personal boycott. I did not tell you. I told you I will not. I will not have Nike apparel. I will not watch the NFL. I will not watch a Super Bowl party this year. Please save me a little cheese dip. I'll swing by. Pick me up at the Go Plate. Don't hold it against the brother. Put me at the Go Plate together. Chili, cheese dip, couple nachos. I'll leave, I promise, before kickoff. Anyhow, I could go to the pregame show. I found it out. Stop justifying things, America, okay? The new Nike deal with Colin Kaepernick, with someone like Pat, the list goes on, okay? The list goes on. Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Nike, when you bring every single job back, you little sniveling-nosed white kids, black kids, Latino, all of you, that's wearing your little Nike shoes around, that's $100 and some, okay? When Nike brings every job back to this country, every single job, and make sure that poor children in third world countries that's making the Nike for your snivelly little runny-nosed kids, snot-nosed kids, okay, out here, like Meghan McCain that fell off the horse, all right? So anyhow, I told you, I'm not launching an attack. I love my friends at Park and Rec. Love them. They're friends of mine. They may have made their purchases for the year. So be careful. Don't attack people that you don't know all the details. They may have made their purchases for the year. And I think out there, because this Saturday, I'm going to go Friday night to a football game, high school football game. Because I love it. And I'm going to drag my ass to the car at 10:30 at night. But I love it. And I'm going to get up Saturday morning and take 6, 7 ibuprofens because I love it. And I'm going to head down to Gilmer and I'm going to announce about 5 Park and Rec football games because I just love everything about supporting the kids. So don't attack these people. I love these people. But I'm telling you, it's your tax money is the reason I'm bringing it. You go to your commissioners, you go to your Park and Rec, and you go to your superintendent of school, your Board of Education. Don't attack. The season is on. They may have contracts. They may not be able to get out of the contracts or their suit or liabilities. So be careful. But you let your voice be heard because it's your tax money. That's where we're crossing the line. I am serious. Tax money. Well, no, it's the booster club that buys the uniforms. Don't go there. I understand. Anyhow, number 30. Kneeling during this even came from Meet the Press. Kneeling during a national anthem. Appropriate, this is all voters. Voters were asked, all voters, Democrat, Republican, Independents. All voters, appropriate, 43%. Not appropriate, 54%. And you always know Meet the Press has skewed the numbers. So even a Meet the Press number that they would put up from the Wall Street Journal poll, even 54% of Americans say not appropriate, okay? And I doubt the 43 it's appropriate, okay? Just saying, okay? Now, look at that picture. I don't know if you can see it at home, but above the Meet the Press emblem, if you'll go up the right side of the picture, you will see the Nike swoosh on that young man there that is kneeling, that has such a bad time living in America today. Now, let me explain, not politics, but let me explain some things. Let's see how I can put it so I'm not being offensive. 9 weeks. This is our segment now, 9 weeks. Okay, start a new segment, take that down. All right? 9 weeks from today is Election Day. 9 weeks. For the next 9 weeks, I will talk politics somehow, some way, like I didn't before now, but it ratchets up. We're not going to sleep here. I better not catch anybody's ass asleep on the wheel at this place right here, because we're going to bring you everything we possibly can for you, the voters, to make the decision. But let me focus on Georgia, okay? I said it earlier. Now, if you're in California this morning and you're watching, we hope you are, and if you're out in Idaho or Michigan or down there in Texas, or even if you are a red lady in a blue state of Connecticut, pay attention even though I'm talking about Georgia, because this is what's happening in your neck of the woods. They put the money in Georgia. So goes Georgia, so goes the country. They put the money in Georgia with Jon Ossoff, okay? Jon Ossoff. And it was the highest, the most money spent on a House of Representatives race in history between Karen Handel and Jon Ossoff. I said earlier in this show that you would think that they lost, and they would tuck tail and run, as they say. And they would say, we better not go back to Georgia because they whooped us and sent us right out of there, those old Democrats. But no, they were finding the holes, the chinks in the armor, where they needed to get to next. They were preparing. Now, they would have loved a blue win in Georgia. Why? It would have meant everything to them. But Democrats always have a takeaway. We're always waiting to see how it plays with America. Republicans, okay? How we'll be judged by the voters. Democrats never wait to be judged by the voters. So anyhow, Ossoff, they put their feelers out. They got it. They put the game plan together. They are ready. Okay? Now, let me say this before we go any further. I'm not going to come on the show in the next 9 weeks and do a daily puff piece for Republicans. Won't happen. Okay? I will not come on the show and give the impression I'm trying to lift up a Democrat. What I will do, just so you know, out of the box, is I study the campaigns. Although I may not personally want an individual to be the next whatever, the campaigns is what I look at. So what I'm going to bring to you on a daily basis every time we discuss politics is what's happening with the campaign. And there'll be so many times you disagree. Well, I can't believe BKP would come on there and say he liked some. I'm not going to. Whether you like it or not, some Democrats are going to handle their campaign very well. Whether you like it or not, some Republicans are not going to handle their campaign very well. And I like to come across and give to you what's happening in the race with the campaigns. So not everything is going to be to your satisfaction. And I got to be clear. But the reason I do that is because if I break down the campaigns, okay, in this small little North Georgia media market, okay, but if I break down the campaigns, there may be somebody on the other side of the camera that may be able to go to the campaign and say, you know what, you better pay attention to this or that. And maybe you may be able to turn a campaign at a time for your candidate to win. Because let me tell you something, not all Republicans, okay, I've asked Congressman Doug Collins in the past, what are Republicans running on? Repealing Obamacare? What are Republicans running on? Okay? Now the good news is the good news. That's exactly right. The good news is the good news. And that may be hard to, what the hell did he just say? The good news is the good news. And what that means is the good news for you out there, Republicans, is the American people are living the economy. They are living the Trump presidency. They are living deregulation. They are living it. That's the good news. So the good news is the good news. They're living it. So you need to relax, Republicans, and not try, to reinvent the wheel. Okay? Not try. So let's go through this real quick, because this will not be done in a day. Now, Republicans, let's see, we're 9 weeks away from finding out who will be the next Speaker of the House. So let's start with Speaker of the House, okay? So you have a choice, this is what I think possibly, of Kevin McCarthy. Okay, now put Kevin McCarthy up. I think that's what I named it, all right? And he's got a lot of pictures to look through. So there's Kevin McCarthy. Oh, that's Kevin McCarthy too, but that's okay. We'll go with Kevin McCarthy, all right? And let's go with, that was number 2. There's 2 Kevin. Let's go with the first Kevin McCarthy. And he's in the wing, right behind Paul Ryan, okay? Now, you heard my congressman tell you on the air last week that it's too soon to talk about Speaker of the House because we don't want to cause a divide. 9 weeks, listen to me. We don't want to cause a divide in the Republican Party right now. So realistically, I'm going to go with, if we have a campaign right now that surrounds Speaker of the House, we're going to have a bigger problem. Republicans are going to have a bigger problem. So McCarthy is waiting in the wings. Now, us in America, we have been handed the anointed one until Donald Trump. So I think what you need to do, if you don't want the next anointed one, you see, you did not, America, want the next anointed president, Jeb Bush, or whoever it may have been out of the 17. You did not want the next anointed president. And you said, no, I will not accept the next anointed president. So what you need to do is vote and retain the House. Republicans need to retain the House of Representatives and then not accept the next anointed Speaker of the House, if that's your choice. Now, my congressman said that he is going to watch and see who does the most to help retain the House majority. So you have McCarthy is next in line. Just saying, okay? Kevin McCarthy waiting in the wings, next in line. Okay? America, you don't have to accept that. We've already done that once. So I'm not going to down or spend all my time remaining on Kevin McCarthy for Speaker of the House. I'm not going to tell you how much I dislike him. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not saying I dislike him. Change my words here. I'm not saying I dislike Kevin McCarthy. But I am saying this, okay? We need to have a say. And our say is our representative. And if the Republicans retain the House, just keep in mind, nothing against McCarthy, may do a great job. John Boehner, right? We'll do a Speaker of the House segment here soon. John Boehner handed it over to Paul Ryan, and Paul Ryan's going to hand it over to McCarthy. That is the thought process right now. And let me remind you, folks, it's not theirs to hand over, it's ours. Now, so you have, in November, 9 weeks, just 9 weeks away, you have the possibility of finding out if the Republicans take the House. Jim Jordan, okay? So put up Jim Jordan. Now, Jim Jordan, Ohio, somehow that little possible wrestling locker room, he may have had knowledge scandal broke about the time people thought the establishment, my words, thought that he wanted to be Speaker of the House. Well, he does want to be Speaker of the House. Boy, I wouldn't want to wrestle that guy. He wants to be Speaker of the House, period. So you tell your congressman, that's probably your second choice. That's probably the choice to where you just don't accept status quo anymore right there. So you decide what you're going to tell your congressman. But now in 9 weeks, this should scare the hell out of every single Republican out there to get 3 friends to go vote with you, encourage friends to vote your way, because friends don't let friends. Put up Nancy. Folks, that gavel right there with Nancy Pelosi should scare the hell out of every American walking up and down today. If you are alive and breathing, that gavel in that woman's hand, well, she won't be the next speaker. We're hearing some of the Democrats, the new up-and-comers, saying they're looking for fresh, young. No. You have to understand, you're going to have to educate yourselves. You can get mad at me and say, who do you think you are to tell me to educate myself? You're going to have to educate yourself, okay? What's his name from Baltimore? The representative from Baltimore, I forget his name, all right? He said he bet everything on it. That will be the next Speaker of the House. They talked to him about being maybe the first black Speaker of the House in America, okay? Forget his name off the top of my head. And he was on the morning show and he said, I will bet my whole career Nancy will be the next Speaker of the House. Every Democrat that uses John McCain as an example and says they will not support Nancy Pelosi, the day Steny Hoyer, every one of them, the day, well, he's in the Senate. Well, wait a minute. Every one of them, as soon as they're elected, will go into a room, and there'll be a group of thugs, maybe AFL-CIO, is that AFL-CIO? Maybe Trumpka, the head of the AFL-CIO union, will send some friends over. But they'll go into a room, all of these freshman Democrats, that say we need fresh representation, and they will have the absolute hell beat out of them until the only thing they know how to say is, yes, Nancy, can I have another? Trust me, that should scare the hell out of me. 9 weeks away, Speaker of the House. That's what you're looking at. Okay, 9 weeks away. The next governor of Georgia, okay? So here's Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams. Do I have a picture of them together? There you go. Georgia, you have a choice in 9 weeks, whether the Republican in the red tie, Brian Kemp, the unapologetic conservative, is the next governor of Georgia, or Stacey Abrams. If you are looking back at me in this camera and you are laughing in North Georgia about the possibility of Stacey Abrams being the next governor, she may laugh last. Why, are you on there endorsing her? No, hell no, I'm not endorsing her. What the hell's wrong with you? I'm just telling you. George Soros, Obama, Eric Holder, Hollywood money. Okay? Do not laugh because the media has set up her to be the first African American black female governor in the history of this country. All the media. I don't even know how Brian Kemp will sustain the attacks. Brian Kemp has been in this studio. I have been on campaign events with Brian Kemp. How he will sustain this attack is beyond me. It will take the biggest grassroots effort because she will have the money to send little white college kids. Could you please say that again? Okay, one more time. She will have the money to send white college kids. Oh, yeah. Oh, white college kids love to help change the world, especially when they're in one of those state manipulating institutions with snowflake rooms. Oh, yeah, as soon as those she'll have enough money for white college kids with clipboards to go around and register in poor black neighborhoods all around Georgia and rural Georgia. I'm just telling you. Need to listen. Okay, 9 weeks away from that decision. We're going to work on it daily. Let's go to the next one. This one is going to perplex you. I just wanted to see if I could say perplexed this morning. Let's go to the one I have. It's a 3 picture. Let's see which one it is. I thought I had it here. Let's see where it's at. It's named Duncan, Schaefer, and Amico. Oh, quite perplexing. Amico, Sarah Riggs Amica, is that her name? This is Lieutenant Governor. I know there's so many times I say things that you think I'm so arrogant. I understand. First, Jeff Duncan will need to call me personally and ask for my vote. Then and only then will I consider thinking about letting him be on my show. As arrogant as it sounds, it's my show. Well, I thought you were going to bring us... Don't you love when I talk to myself and I ask myself my own questions? Crazy as hell, right? I thought you were going to be open to all candidates. I am just telling you the truth. I didn't like the guy the day before. I don't like the guy the day after. Okay? Forgiveness is only in the Bible, folks. I'm not only. All right, I know what you just said. But in the Bible, it tells me, forgive your brother. Okay, call me and ask for my vote. That's a form of asking for forgiveness. Why am I putting the 3 pictures up? How many people have I just angered? Because at the beginning of this segment, I told you, we will break down the races regardless of what people like. The lady there is the Democrat. She runs a trucking company, union labor, union truck drivers. She has been out to Hollywood and a big fundraiser and getting money. She has the President Obama's support. She has the Democrat Party wrapped up. Now, the 2 guys on the right, you have David Schaefer, okay? Now, if David Schaefer comes out and says, hey, I would like for every Republican that voted for me to vote for Jeff Duncan, that could be a big help. But as long as Schaefer stays out of it 100%, the slaps on the back that Jeff Duncan's getting from other Republicans. You see, Republicans right now know, in Lieutenant Governor's race, I think, was Casey Cagle not elected during, as Lieutenant Governor Barnes, the last administration of Barnes as a Democrat? But anyhow, Republicans know that they may not keep super majorities, and the Senate is what sets the rules. And Republicans know that if the lady, the Democrat, if Amica wins the election, they could strip her of all the power. She could go in every day. You remember when Tommy Boy, they gave him an office, and he was yelling into the fan, Luke, I'm your father. Remember that? I mean, I know that wasn't nice, but I'm not being derogatory to the lady. But she could have a name on the door and go in there and just, keep tossing the paperweight up in the air. They could strip all the power from the lieutenant governor. Yeah. So all the backslapping that they're doing around the state for Jeff Duncan, you see 600,000 votes, I think, 500,000. We'll do 500,000. 500,000 votes, only 1,400 separated these 2 guys. And there's a group dedicated looking at the dark money in the area of $3 million that supported Jeff Duncan on the personal attacks of David Schaefer. So I don't know if everybody's gotten over the lieutenant governor. You better wake up, because in 9 weeks, the lady could be your lieutenant governor if some things don't change. And I'm not for sure that every time Brian Kemp backslaps Duncan, it goes the right way for everybody. I'm just saying. Okay, let's move on from that race. That's Lieutenant Governor. Let's move on to just, I think we'll get one more. Go to Brad Raffensperger. Put Brad Raffensperger up. Okay? Well, there's Brad, Secretary of State of Georgia, right? Secretary of State of Georgia. Now, Raffensperger, do you know him? I do because of the business I'm in. I do because of the political things I go to. Do you know him? Brad Raffensperger? All we heard during the Republican primary was voting machines, paper ballots, a paper trail for voting. They all promised it. They all said they would, right? Remember John Ossoff in that primary. We don't have time to break that down. I think they call that a jungle primary where there's actually no Republican runoff and no Democrat runoff, right? But you remember that primary with John Ossoff and it came to the top two? And they were sued. Voter registration says you have to open voter registration until 30 days before an election. And there was the argument that that was the same election. But then a federal judge demanded that Secretary of State, okay, open registration, right? Open registration. And they did. They opened registration up before the Karen Handel, John Ossoff battle. And some criticize still to this day Secretary of State Brian Kemp for not fighting that. You remember recently Randolph County, I think it's Randolph County, where they wanted to, because of the voter, that you could not, there was no handicap ramps, so forth. There was a reason they wanted to consolidate the precincts in Randolph County. And along with the media, they went crazy and sued to keep everyone open because it's predominantly black areas they wanted to close, is what they wanted to lead you to believe. Remember verifying everybody that the white kids with clipboards are out there from colleges getting extra credit to sign up Democrats, getting paid by maybe OFA, Organizing for America, or somebody like that is paying them to get registrations. That's your Secretary of State. Now, Brad Raffensperger, I like him. I've met him 2 or 3 times. I've had some one-on-one conversations. I really enjoy the guy. Okay? But let's go to John Barrow. Or is that his name, John Barrow? Yeah, John Barrow. Okay? Now, John Barrow is what was known as the last remaining white, Southern white representative in the United States. Now, the South has gone red, where they changed parties to maintain their office. And the House of Representatives, there's, you know, it's been said that there's no remaining true old white Southerners on the Democrat side. On the Democrat side, no Democrat Southern representatives. John Barrow was considered the last true Southern white Democrat representative in the country. Smooth talker. You can walk out of one of his rallies and it really sounds conservative. You can walk out of one of his rallies and say, well, I don't see no problem with that guy. He sounds as conservative as I am. Oh yeah, this guy can talk. Why, when this guy will have the money. Why, it's a down ballot race. Why do you keep putting emphasis on the down ballot race? Because Secretary of State, damn it, controls voter registration, investigations, all of the above. Yes, now you're catching on. Your eyes are wide open. So what you're saying here is if he's elected Secretary of State and they go out there and they just register every illegal alien in the state, it'll be like giving them driver's license. We'll have them all voting. There you go. Bingo. That's right. Oh, yeah, Secretary of State. Across the United States, that's why I'm saying no matter where you're at in America, these are the things they're working on. Oh, yeah, they're working on this. Yes. Voter registration, Secretary of State. Guess who, let's see, let me say here real quick. Guess who certifies the national election and sends it to the Electoral College? Oh, Secretary of State. Oh, John will sound conservative. Oh, he will. Last remaining Democrat, conservative, white guy. He was voted out in his district. Just saying, 9 weeks away. Giving you some hard examples. It might be tough to swallow this pill, but you got to wake up. It's over. Labor Day's gone, baby. It's back to school. And it's time, 9 weeks away, you're going to pull the lever. And let me tell you what concerns me is North Georgia, rural America. We'll get into that tomorrow. Democrats need 5%. They need 5%. Look at the history, 5 to 7%. Some worse, some 5.5 if you balance it out. Democrats need 5%. They're going to get the Atlanta Metro vote. They're going to get it. Guess what? They're going to get the Atlanta Metro vote. It may even be a little heavier, but they're going to get it. They're not going to get Republicans in Atlanta Metro. They're going to get the Atlanta Metro vote they always get. They're going to get the Macon vote. They're going to get the Savannah, the Columbus, whatever. They're going to get that Metro vote they always get. But they know where their 5%'s at. They know where that little gap is at. And believe it or not, there's a Democrat almost on the ballot for every single one out there. There's a reason to come vote. There's Josh McCall for all in the 9th District. There's Rick Day in the House of Representatives, Georgia House of Representatives, District 7. You name it. They have staged Democrats all over this state for you to come vote. Where? Rural Georgia. Bring the Democrats out in rural Georgia. Because 2 million Democrats stayed home last time. And if you go look at where they stayed home, they couldn't get them excited in rural Georgia because, believe it or not, you're living next to one. Who are you living next to? All right, last, I'm going to take this, and we're going to go on this. I want to go to Nathan Deal. I think I sent you a picture. I can't remember where it's at, and I will not have time to go through all of them. So don't judge me. I sent Josh 50 pictures, was hoping to get through all of them. Nathan Deal, the governor of Georgia. Folks, Nathan Deal, okay, is leaving. We're 9 weeks away from seeing what his parting gifts are. 9 weeks away. He has been there for 8 years. He will be leaving. 9 weeks from now, we will start to see who he moves in certain areas. It says thank you to. Job well done, my friend. This is for you. Job well done. This is for you. So the usual, signing of the gift there. Job well done. That's in 9 weeks. I want to show you something, and I want to bring this up. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. I do want to find one picture. Okay. Now we just looked at Nathan Deal. Okay. Now what does Nathan Deal have to do with this? Put up picture, hell, I know I got it here somewhere. I put it up this morning. I may not be able to find it, friend. I may not have sent it to you. Let's see. Did I send anything? Send it to you. Ben Sass. No, I don't want to talk about him. All right, I didn't send it, but let's say this, okay? Let's look at the guy dunking out in California, all right? And let's look at the dunking out in California. Leave Nathan Deal up for a second, okay? Republicans always wait or want to see what happens to, or how America is going to see this. Let's see. I want to see where, thanks Jeff. The media is going crazy over this. Okay, here's a tweet from the President of the United States. Two long-running Obama-era investigations for two very popular congressmen were brought to a well-publicized charge just headed for the midterms by the Jeff Sessions Justice Department. Two easy wins, now in doubt because there is not enough time. Good job, Jeff. Well, they're talking about the president wanting to control Jeff Sessions over the Duncan out in California, and I forget the guy's name up in New York, that are both in big trouble as far as federal investigations. Jeff Sessions knows that if he would have just held back, not stopped. No, wait a minute. Wait for I'm advocating. Okay, I want to leave Nathan Deal up for something here. Jeff Sessions knows if he'd have just held back 9 more weeks before giving the media two of Trump's very first people to endorse him are now federally investigated and being indicted and maybe having to step down right before an election in 2 very red districts that were likely to go Republican. Right? He knows he affected those 2 districts. He knows if he could have waited 9 weeks and these 2 guys would have won their districts, then A, they would have to be a special election, right, in these districts. That would give the time for an actual candidate to step up, not 9 weeks away, and it may be an actual candidate to step up. That would give time for that candidate to run a race and that candidate to wash the slate clean, and maybe a Republican could really run outside of all the nonsense. See, Sessions knows that. So I'm not advocating for these 2 Republican congressmen to get special treatment, but Sessions manipulated the outcome of election, and he manipulated the outcome of what could have been the representation of these districts. If he'd have just went on 9 weeks to the day, and on Wednesday after Election Day indicted both of them, made them step down or whatever, or they would have resigned or fought it. You know, we have innocent until proven guilty in this country. It's always interesting when we decide it applies, okay? So if he would have done that, then if they'd have stepped down, there'd been a special election, Republicans' chance to retain the district. It's bad enough that we have the redistricting in Pennsylvania, the courts doing what the courts are doing in North Carolina and what they're trying to do all over this country, let alone Jeff Sessions, helping these 2 districts go blue. And I understand where Donald Trump's going. The reason I left Nathan Deal up, it happens every day. They appoint people. Wait till after election and watch all the gifts that are given out. I'm your host, BKP. We're gonna take off. We're gonna take a break. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be back tomorrow morning. We're going to get right back into this. There's a lot we didn't do. I knew I could not unpack this show in 2 hours. I am so glad to be back. Right now, don't go anywhere because it's not Monday, so it's not instant replay, but it's Tuesday, and we're going to run right after this our show from the Union County Farmers Market, Trash to Treasures. I love doing this show. We're going to run it right now after this break, and then I'll be back tomorrow morning. Take us to break, Josh.